Oh, the GOAT is back. Yes. I'm not just talking about me. I'm not talking about the best podcaster out there in the IWC. No disrespect to JD, rhyming accidentally. All right? I'm not talking about me. When we talk about the GOAT, I'm talking about the true GOAT of WWE, the best female wrestler in the world. Sasha Banks is back, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to talk about it today. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, a.k.a. G-Lauren33. I am back here today with another episode of the Legit Shoot Podcast, here with your Smackdown review and results for July 30th, 2021. Thank you so very much for joining me right here on the podcast. I hope you guys are staying safe, doing well. And yes, you guys can see I'm in a good mood. And there's only one person, really. Well, two people in WWE. But there's only a couple superstars in the WWE that can put me in a great mood like this. One, John Cena. And two, Sasha Banks. And we got both of them on SmackDown last night. Sasha made her epic return to SmackDown, appearing on the show on WWE programming for the first time since losing the SmackDown Women's Championship to Bianca BelAir at WrestleMania in the main event. And John Cena, of course, the Summer of Cena continues as it is now official. John Cena versus Roman Reigns will take place in the main event of Summerslam this year in Las Vegas, Nevada for the Universal Championship. And just those two things alone made this a great show for me, right? We also had Seth Rollins attacking Edge. And, we know those are going to be the three big matches on the SmackDown side of SummerSlam. Arguably, those are the three big matches for SummerSlam. Raw doesn't, right now, I'm going to be honest with you, outside of what we're expecting with the Raw Tag Team Championship scene with Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, RK Bro most likely going up against AJ and Almas, the Raw side of things is looking weak for SummerSlam. Looking very weak. We could be getting Sheamus versus Damian Priest, which has the potential to be a show stealer if given the right build. I've been saying how I wanted Damian Priest to be the guy to dethrone Sheamus as the U.S. champion. It would be perfect. Plus, we're most likely getting Bobby Lashley and Goldberg. And you guys know how much I don't want to see that. The only thing that could potentially save Bobby Lashley and Goldberg at SummerSlam is a potential Big E cash-in. And I still do personally believe that Big E will cash in at SummerSlam, but still, the Raw side of things compared to the SmackDown side for the SummerSlam card, it's night and day. Clearly, SmackDown is bringing out the heat for SummerSlam. They're going to have the matches that we're going to be talking about and, looking forward to on that Saturday night in just a couple of weeks. We're about 3 weeks away from SummerSlam at this point. And clearly, Edge versus Seth Rollins in that one-on-one match hasn't been announced, but we know it's coming. Sasha Banks and Bianca BelAir for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And the first official match confirmed for SummerSlam, the main event, like I just said, John Cena versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I don't know if you guys saw the poster that WWE posted on their social media page. They released it right after SmackDown went off the air, and it is a beast poster with Roman Reigns and Cena. This has the potential to be one of the biggest main events in SummerSlam history. This match is going to be absolutely insane, and I cannot wait. But we'll talk about Cena and Reigns, because you would think that Cena and Reigns would be the main talking point of any show they're on, especially SmackDown. But especially this being the Legit Shoot Podcast, this is a pro Sasha Banks channel. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this review today. We're going to mainly be talking about the return of Sasha Banks, because honestly, she was the big talking point. She is back. She's now fully a heel again. Fully a heel. And she will be challenging Bianca at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And everything about her return last night was great. She came out as a babyface, right? She came out as a babyface earlier on the night, had the run-in save as Bianca was getting beat down by Zelina Vega and Carmella. And at first, everyone was confused, like, huh? Sasha's back as a babyface? So her and Bianca are friends, and everyone on social media, they're like, wait, yeah, I know Sasha and Bianca, they won an ESPY, they were taking pictures together, right? But wouldn't Sasha still be pissed about Bianca defeating her at WrestleMania, right? Sasha still doesn't have a WrestleMania victory, and I don't want to get into that because you guys know how I feel about that topic. But everyone was talking about why is Sasha Banks a babyface? Why is she back with Bianca, right? Why are they just all of a sudden friends again? I understand they made history, but just like that. And then they announced that the main event would actually be Sasha and Bianca versus Carmella and Zelina in a tag team match, and it was clear where they were going. It was pretty obvious what they were planning, and they did exactly what we thought they were going to do. Sasha turned on Bianca, gave her a vicious beatdown to end the show, right? And it was so smooth how Sasha was able to flip the script, go from babyface into heel like that. Like that. Look, the comparison with her and the other woman in the women's division, man, she is so much better than everybody else. There's so very few that can operate on her level. Her charisma, her intensity, her ability to craft a story, everything about Sasha. You guys, some people watch this podcast and they think, oh, I'm just a Sasha Banks mark. But when you analyze what she actually does every time she's in the ring, right? No matter if it's a promo segment or a backstage interview, no matter if it's a short or long segment, right? It could be a 30-minute classic or a 5-minute promo. She's always doing something that's going to get you talking. And what she did last night was amazing. Amazing. The way she locked Bianca in that bake statement, right? And was yelling at her, you thought I forgot. You thought I forgot what you did to me at WrestleMania, right? I got you a main event. I got you an ESPY. Remember that. I'm the boss around here. Sasha talking so much crap. And now I'm sitting here. The first thing I'm thinking of when I'm waking up this morning, getting ready to record this podcast for you guys, I'm thinking, was that heel turn by Sasha Banks, was it better than her original heel turn a couple years ago back in, 2019? When she came back the night after SummerSlam 2019, right? And she attacked Natalya and Becky Lynch. That was the first time Sasha had revealed she had changed her hair to blue, right? When she comes out, she hugs Natalya. Then all of a sudden, she clocks Natalya behind her back, rips off the pink wig, reveals that she has blue hair, beats Natalya down. Becky comes out, right? Setting the stage for the awesome Sasha and Becky feud that we got for the next couple of months on Monday Night Raw. Sasha beating down Becky, right? She's saying, who's the man now, bitch? And then make her attention to how she wanted the Raw Women's Championship. But now I'm sitting here thinking, was what Sasha did to Bianca better than what the heel turn on Becky? I don't know. I may have to do a video. Honestly, I might have to do a video in the coming days where we compare. We may just react to Sasha Banks' return, last night on SmackDown and her original return a years ago, the night after SummerSlam. And then you guys can tell me, what do you guys think was better? Which Sasha Banks heel turn was better? Because that was fantastic. Even though it was predictable that Sasha was going to turn on Bianca. Because it didn't really make much sense. It didn't really make much sense for Sasha to just, all of a sudden be friends with Bianca again. It didn't make sense at all. It was predictable, and you knew what was going to happen in that main event, but it didn't make it any less awesome. It was fantastic. The visual of Sasha Banks just cranking that bank statement, and Bianca screaming. Bianca was actually tapping, right? If that was an official match, Sasha Banks would be the SmackDown Women's Champion right now. Bianca tapping. You could hear Bianca, the look on Bianca's face. Bianca did a great job of selling that hold. Bianca just like, whoa. Like, tell her to stop. Tell her to stop. And Sasha does not letting go. Then Sasha does let go, grabs the SmackDown Women's Championship, holds it in the air, telling, yes, I'm back. I'm back to take back my championship, take back my division, take back my show. And the reaction was great. It was incredible, right? Not only the reaction to her run-in, earlier on in the night, but the reaction to her turning heel. You had fans that were cheering because fans wanted to see Sasha return to that vicious heel, right? The heel she won when she came back a couple of years ago. It also gave you flashbacks of the Sasha we got back at NXT. The Sasha that made her into the legit boss. You know, when she started her legacy of being one of the greatest of all time. So the reaction, you had half the crowd cheering, absolutely ecstatic and happy that, yes, we're getting heel Sasha back. Sasha's great as a babyface, right? She's fantastic as a babyface, but we all know Sasha is at her best when she is that vicious heel that doesn't care about anybody but herself and being the best and being at the top of the mountain in the women's division. And that was fantastic to see. Half the crowd is chanting for Sasha, happy at what they're getting. Another half of the crowd are booing. All right? The same half that was cheering Sasha minutes earlier when she was, celebrating her victory with Bianca, now are booing her because the heel turn, it shocked them. And it was great to see. Sasha was able to flip the script so easily, so organically, and it was fantastic to see. This is what the women's division needed. The women's division on both shows has been so weak. So weak since WrestleMania, right? We all want the return of Becky Lynch. We all wanted the return of Sasha Banks, right? We got the return of Sasha Banks. Unfortunately, Bayley's out for, the next 8 months with her injury. And Charlotte has done absolutely nothing with the Raw Women's Division on Raw. The Raw Women's Division is the worst women's division in all of wrestling, right? The only thing that was holding the SmackDown Women's Division with Sasha Banks out was Bayley. And even though I didn't like the Bayley and Bianca feud, Bayley was so good as a heel, as a character, it was still enough that you were able to watch and get through it. But you guys know, I complain about it on every podcast, the women's division has been in a terrible state since WrestleMania. And this seems to be a yearly thing almost. Seems like almost every year after WrestleMania, something's wrong with the women's division. No matter if it's missing names like Becky or Sasha or Ronda, or just the creativity is just not there. They're focused on other storylines in the women's division. It's like after WrestleMania, it's like, all right, we gave you your moment. Right? No matter if it's Becky versus Ronda versus Charlotte main eventing WrestleMania, or Sasha versus Bianca WrestleMania, or, main eventing WrestleMania like they did this year. It's like after WrestleMania, they just stopped caring about the women's division going into the summer months. And the women's division has just been awful coming back with fans in attendance. Nikki, ASH as the Raw Women's Champion has done nothing for the division. And I don't want to disrespect Nikki Cross because that's not her fault, but they did a terrible job with her Money in the Bank cash-in. They did a terrible job with her winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. It was anticlimactic. So was the cash-in itself. And now that we're getting Nikki versus Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam, nobody cares. All people care about is they want Becky Lynch to come back, right? People are tired of Charlotte because they don't want to see her as women's champion anymore. They keep giving her title reign after title reign, but nobody cares because none of her title reigns are memorable. Rhea Ripley, she's struggling to get over with the audience because they've done a poor job of booking her and presenting her. She does have, a section of people that cheer for her and want to see her succeed, but they've done a poor job of presenting her on Monday Night Raw. And Nikki Cross, I just complained how they did a bad job with her cash-in, right? And plus you have Eva Marie and Doudrop, which is horrendous, right? Alexa Bliss, some nights, I care about her. Some nights I don't because, I feel like it's like start and stop with her development of her character. And the rest of the women's division on Raw is terrible, right? And on SmackDown, I already told you, Bayley's out. Bianca's, she's doing her best, but still, Bianca, I still do not like how she's been presented throughout her title reign, right? Her title reign was just mainly a copy and paste of what Sasha did with the championship before, which did Bianca no favors, because as great as Sasha was, right, there's still a lot more they could have done with Sasha's champion. And Bianca, they just given Bianca the same opponents that Sasha did during her reign. And there's really nobody else in the SmackDown Women's Division that's been built up correctly. You have promise like Toni Storm and Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, But I don't know. I don't trust WWE to book them correctly. They have to prove to me that WWE's gonna, book them correctly and make them into legitimate contenders in that women's division. Liv Morgan, I've been calling for her to be pushed for years. Same thing with Naomi, who just got moved to SmackDown. And I like Zelina Vega, but she hasn't won a match since she came back. How do you think she feels? So, the women's division in general has just been poorly booked since WrestleMania. And Sasha coming back is what the SmackDown Women's division needs to get back on the right foot. Sasha versus Bianca, the rematch is going to be absolutely epic at SummerSlam, right? Who wins? I don't really know right now. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know who wins at this moment, but it's going to be absolutely epic. Is Sasha versus Bianca enough to save the women's division in general? No, because the Raw Women's division is garbage. I feel like people are going to keep complaining about the Raw Women's division until Becky Lynch comes back, whenever that is. And I'm hearing reports now that plans are for Becky to come back till October when we have the actual draft, which I don't know why. I don't know if Becky just needs more time to get back into wrestling shape, right? Because remember, she just did have a baby a little over half a year ago, or if they're just delaying it for whatever reason. I've been saying this would be the perfect time to bring Becky back, but they've chosen not to. So, I know I'm going a lot of places with this opening shoot, but mainly this all goes back to Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks' return last night was absolutely epic, and it was needed. It was needed, But will it be enough to save the rest of the women's division? We'll have to wait and see, because the women's division, like I've been saying, has been booked poorly. But still, Sasha's return was epic last night. The heel turn, everything about it was special. I absolutely loved it. I know you guys loved it as well, because everyone's been talking about it on social media. I woke up, Sasha was trending number 3 on Twitter, which is amazing. She trends whenever, she usually trends when she's not on WWE TV. Now she's trending for the even greater reason, because she's actually back. And, the stage is set for Sasha and Bianca, the rematch at SummerSlam. I am absolutely hype. I am so excited. And, of course, we're going to talk about Sasha a lot more as we go through the podcast today. But, yes, Sasha Banks, the GOAT, the blueprint, the standard, the legit boss, whatever you want to call her, right? The Mandalorian. She is back. And I'm just ecstatic. Absolutely fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. And we'll talk about it as we go through today. But in general, the main reason why SmackDown was a good show in my eyes was because of the return of Sasha Banks. Plus, John Cena and Roman Reigns is official. Absolutely official. And I'm already looking on WWE's YouTube page. Sasha Banks' heel turn on Bianca is already at 600,000 views. So it'll probably get to 1 million before the end of the day. But if you guys come on, it's Sasha Banks. I just want to make this quick point. Sasha has gotten to the point where she is on the Roman Reigns level of the best in the world. The best WWE superstars. When we talk about who are the top stars in WWE, if you don't think Sasha Banks is at the top of that list, you are absolutely retarded. All right? And I hate using that word, right? I really do. But look, if you're really trying to deny that for your own personal agenda, or you just don't want to admit it because you may not like Sasha, you're just dumb. You really are, right? When she returns and she gets that many people talking on social media, right? And when just like that, everybody's talking about the women's division again and the hype for, SummerSlam. If we weren't getting John Cena versus Roman Reigns as the main event of SummerSlam, I can make a legitimate argument that Sasha and Bianca should be the ones to close out the show. But of course, there's nothing that's gonna main event, over Cena and Reigns. Nothing's gonna main event over that, of course. That's one of the biggest matches we'll have all year. Potentially the biggest main event we'll have all year. That's a bigger match than what we got at WrestleMania with Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. But Sasha is that big a star that she comes back and you can legit make an argument the next day that her match at SummerSlam should be the main event of the actual show. And like I said, if Cena and Reigns was not taking place at SummerSlam, I feel like there would be a lot of people that wouldn't even complain if Sasha and Bianca got the main event spot at SummerSlam. Which is epic. Epic in itself. That's how much of a star she is. Wait for the ratings later today. Wait for the ratings, and let's see. I'm not expecting, the ratings to fly from a 2 to a 3. I'm not saying that, but I do expect a significant jump in the SmackDown ratings with the return of Sasha Banks. See that. See how everyone's talking about her on social media, right? All these things are just more facts, just more proof that, shows that Sasha Banks is one of the biggest stars in WWE. When I think about the biggest stars, when I think about I'm not talking about the part-timers like John Cena and Edge. No, we know they're legends. But we're talking about the current day, modern day stars, the ones that are there 365 days a year, right? We're talking about the Roman Reigns, the Seth Rollins, the not the John Cena's, the Sasha Banks, the Becky Lynch, the Baileys, right? The AJ Styles. Those are the biggest stars in the company. Those are the people that, when you talk about WWE today in 2021, those are the big names that come to your mind. And if you don't think Sasha's on that level, when I'm the one preaching that she's the best female wrestler in the world, then I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Last night should prove to you. WrestleMania should have proven to you how big a star Sasha truly is. When she's gone for 4 months and people are constantly talking about, she's constantly trending on social media, and people are talking about when is Sasha going to come back. People writing articles on Bleacher Report and all the dirt sheets how Sasha needs to come back now, right? The SmackDown Women's Division needs her more than ever. That proves that you're a star. When you're the conversation and you're not even in the room, you know you are a star, and that's what Sasha Banks is. She says it all the time. My name is greater than your title. You think it was just a line for a promo? No, it's an actual fact. Sasha Banks never needed a title to be relevant. She never needed a title to be the best in the world at what she does. She just has to be Sasha Banks. She walks in a room and she's clearly the conversation. You have Nicki Minaj and all these other famous musicians, celebrities talking to Sasha while she was on her 4-month break. You think that's a coincidence? No. Stars recognize stars. Sasha's not just recognized now as a wrestler. That's what she does for a living. That's what she's known for. But she's not just a wrestler. She has transcended that. And one day when she chooses to retire, whenever that is, because she's only, 27, 28, right? One day when she chooses to retire, she's going to go into Hollywood. She already has her foot in the door. She was in The Mandalorian. That brought her to another level of superstardom. She has everything that's needed to be the next star in Hollywood, to fall in the footsteps of The Rock, of John Cena, of Batista. That's how you know she's one of the number one stars in WWE. Look, man, we all know Roman Reigns is the top guy in WWE. I'm not here to deny that. But if you don't think that Roman Reigns is 1A and Sasha Banks is right there with him when we talk about the top stars in WWE, you're just dumb. You're just dumb. We all know that Roman Reigns was one of the faces during the pandemic era of WWE. Remember, Roman wasn't there at the beginning of the pandemic. Roman wasn't there during the Performance Center, right? Remember, he left before WrestleMania. He said, I'm out. He said, I got to go protect myself and my family. Sasha Banks and Bayley were the ones carrying not only, SmackDown, but all 3 shows as the tag team championships and their storyline. They were carrying WWE during those first couple months, during the first half of the pandemic, for the most part. And then Sasha, when she won the SmackDown Women's Championship, carried them through WrestleMania. As great as Roman is, Roman was not the only reason for WWE's success during the pandemic, right? I know Sasha was gone for the last 3 months. I know a lot of you guys forget pretty easily, but we all know that during the pandemic, from the Performance Center with no fans to the Performance Center with limited fans to the Thunderdome where WWE was for the last year, Sasha Banks was one of the faces that carried WWE and got them through that time. And now to see Sasha get that reaction and be so happy to have fans back in the arenas, you cannot deny, especially with the reaction she got last night and how people are talking about her this morning, you cannot deny that she is not one of the biggest stars in the company. Roman Reigns is the top guy. We understand that. We know that. But Sasha Banks is right there. There is not much different. There really is not much difference between the levels of stardom between those two. And you cannot deny that this morning. And if you are just dumb. I'm sorry to say it. I don't like using words like that, but it's just the truth. You cannot sit here and try to debate me and not say that Sasha Banks is not one of the biggest stars in the company. That's just not logical. It really isn't. But, let's get into the actual show, right? I knew I was going to spend a lot of time talking about Sasha today. I just knew it. I knew it. There was no way I wasn't going to. Like, to me, she's the best in the world. But before we can get to Sasha's return, because I'm going to, play the clip for you guys, right? We did have John Cena on this show. John Cena was not an afterthought. It's just that Sasha Banks is the main thing I want to talk to you guys tonight or today about. So, John Cena came out to open the show. If you guys remember last week on SmackDown, Roman Reigns did not acknowledge John Cena. Roman Reigns declined John Cena's challenge for SummerSlam and instead accepted a challenge from Finn Balor. So we were supposed to have a contract signing with Finn Balor and Roman Reigns for SummerSlam tonight, which would take place later on in the show. But before we could get there, John Cena opened the show, of course, getting a huge pop from the crowd. And it feels so weird not to hear the John Cena sucks chants. Like, you see some of the signs in the stands, right? And you have those people, those faint John Cena sucks chants. But for the most part, it's just cheers. Because like I've been saying, people are appreciating and recognizing Cena for how great he is. They know that Cena's time in WWE is limited these days. They don't know how long before Cena has to go back to Hollywood. And we don't know if Cena's going to be there past past SummerSlam. I hope he is, right? I personally want to see him win at SummerSlam. As much as I love Roman Reigns, I'll keep repeating myself. I want to see Cena get number 17. I truly do. Cena deserves to get number 17 before he retires. And if not now, when? How many more chances is, Cena going to have? You don't know. He's getting older. He's already in his mid to late 40s. So, you think Cena's going to really be wrestling past 50? I don't know. He could, but I don't know. I truly don't know. So, I want to see Cena get number 17. I truly do. And, Cena had a response for Roman Reigns on tonight's show. We all knew Cena versus Reigns was going to happen. We knew that even with Finn Balor being, throwing out this challenge and Roman Reigns accepting it, we knew that at the end of the day, Cena versus Reigns, it was going to be made official for SummerSlam. They just wanted to pass the time because SummerSlam, with the time between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, that being a 5-week period, right? They didn't want to rush the story. So they gave us this Finn Balor to try to confuse you guys, like, are we getting Cena versus Reigns? Is that still happening? But most of us knew, right? Us non-casuals, we knew that we just had to be patient. It was going to be confirmed at some point, and that's what we got tonight. So Cena came out to open the show to respond to Roman Reigns declining his challenge. So I'll play that clip for you guys.
This is Webflow. Meet the design tool from the future, the most powerful visual coding tool.
You see, Roman Reigns expected me to change because that's what Roman Reigns has to do.
That's a great line.
You're going to like this one. There's a lot of what's.
That's a great line.
Roman Reigns has to change every 2 years because you people stop caring about him.
Oh, man.
You people stop caring about him because you don't believe in him. And you don't believe in him because Roman Reigns doesn't believe in himself. Believe that.
Ooh.
Roman Reigns is nothing more than a lazy stooge named Joe who coasts by on every gimmick in the system and is nothing more than a blood-sucking product of this machine who is so afraid to fail.
This is great stuff, man. Like I said, the main story here. This is not just about the Universal Championship. This is not just about Cena wanting to get number 17, right? This is a class of identities. Roman has changed significantly since Cena's match with him at No Mercy back in 2017. That was 4 years ago, right? Roman has changed. He's now the number one guy in the company, undisputedly. He's changed his gimmick, a full 180 from where he was. No more vests. He's now the head of the table. He calls people to acknowledge him, right? That goes against almost everything that Cena stands for. Roman came out and, as funny as it was, Roman saying that Cena is like missionary every night. Same promo, same look, same entrance, same run to the ring, same everything, right? So Roman's frustrated that Cena hasn't changed. Cena continues to be the same old thing, and the same old thing is not what WWE needs anymore. They need change like Roman Reigns. That's what Roman believes. Cena does not believe that. Cena believes that Roman wants him to change because Roman had to change just to try to get the audience on his side. And Cena, in his eyes, sees that makes Roman a failure, right? So this class of identities, Cena, hustle, loyalty, respect, Roman, people must acknowledge me because I'm the head of the table. Without me, there is no WWE, right? It's an amazing storyline, and when you really analyze this, I've said this before. When you really analyze what's truly going on here with Cena and Reigns, this is a great story where the Universal Championship is not even the center of all of this. This is truly about the face of WWE, right? What ideology, what path do you want to follow? Do you follow the path of acknowledgement for Roman Reigns, or do you follow the path of hustle, loyalty, respect? And, I'm not a big guy about, I'm not that big on philosophy and all that. But still, man, when you look at the story with Cena and Reigns, it's amazing. And the fact that Cena and Reigns haven't had a face-to-face promo segment yet, right? They've cut promos on each other, but in separate segments, and they haven't been face-to-face with each other yet. It's building up to that. And now that Cena and Reigns is official for SummerSlam, now we can finally get those face-to-face show-offs we've been waiting for. We've only seen when Cena returned that Money in the Bank. They didn't say anything to each other. Cena said, "You can't see me," while pandering to the crowd. And then tonight when Cena signed the contract, he did the "You can't see me" again. But Cena and Reigns, they haven't said anything face-to-face. Now that the match is official, now we can go to that next layer of the story, the next layer of this feud, getting those face-to-face segments with Cena and Reigns. That's where the real gold here in this feud is going to be. I talk to you guys all the time about, the famous Cena and Roman Reigns promo from 4 years ago on the Build to No Mercy. We all know the line, I'm still here because you can't do your job. Right? One of Cena's best promos ever. We're all waiting for that 2.0. We're all waiting for that promo segment face-to-face with Cena and Reigns. And we're going to be getting that in the next couple of weeks, and I cannot wait. The way this story is slowly being crafted is fantastic. And the lead up to this match at SummerSlam, it can't get much better. It really can't.
Roman, I would have embarrassed your ass at SummerSlam, and you know it. You didn't reject me because of how I look. You're afraid to fight me because of how I'll make you look.
And Cena throws the line down. Another pipe bomb. Absolutely amazing.
John.
And Pat, I gotta say this. Pat McAfee is the best commentator in WWE right now. He is the best commentator in WWE right now because they let him be himself. Like, Pat McAfee has this part of the show where I think it's called like the McAfee Minute, where he's allowed to say whatever he wants to the crowd, right? And, he commentates standing up. He doesn't even sit down at the announce table. He commentates standing up. And, he's not scripted heavily like Michael Cole or Byron Saxton and Tom Phillips and even Corey Graves. I like Corey Graves, but even he's scripted. But Pat McAfee, they let him be himself. And that's what I truly love about him. Every time you see Pat McAfee and you hear him, that's his organic reaction, whether he knows what's going on or not. And I absolutely love it because it makes it feel like he's just one of us commentating the show. It's a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing.
John.
So Baron Corbin comes out. We know that they've been doing this Baron Corbin, this homeless Baron Corbin story.
Can we hold on just a minute? We gotta talk, man. John, I'm perfect for this though. Look, a guy down and out on his luck with nothing to live. I mean, there's gotta be a sequel. John, matter of fact, I'll be your stunt double.
Look, I don't know how long they plan for this Baron Corbin story to go, man. But look, he needs a haircut badly. Bro, the balding in the front of his head and the bald spot in the back. It's getting real. It looks bad. I would hope Corbin's been wearing caps when he's not on WWE TV, right? When he's not at live events, man. But, woo, he's doing a great job of making himself truly look homeless on WWE television.
That's a bit of a reach. Seriously? You're not gonna help me? You're gonna kick a poor man while he's down? John, you really are a selfish, self-absorbed tightwad. With an ego the size of the state of California. You Hollywood sellout.
Hollywood sellout.
It's okay. It's okay. This is what I like to call a teachable moment. I say we help this man. Yes. I will give you something. Something you very desperately need.
The attitude adjustment.
An attitude adjustment. Oh, Cena's had enough! An AA!
Makes perfect sense, right? Cena's finishing move is an attitude adjustment, and Corbin needs that, right? He kind of needs an attitude adjustment with this negative mindset he's had with all the bad luck he's had of late. But, great promo. This was all about the promo with Cena, that Cena cut another pipe bomb of a promo on Roman Reigns. But now, like I've been saying, it is time for those face-to-face segments. I'm not going to waste any time here, right? We're talking about Cena and Reigns. Let's get to the contract signing, which took place, about midway through the show with Reigns and Finn Balor.
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
So, of course, right, we have Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville. They are in the ring. All right, Roman sitting at the head of the table per his gimmick, of course, with Paul Heyman as the Universal Championship. And then you have Finn Balor, of course, on the side. And like I said, the whole point here is that they want to make you believe that Cena and Reigns is not happening. They're trying to fool you into thinking, oh, we're going to get Finn and Reigns instead. We all know that would be a fantastic match, something probably worthy of the main event of SummerSlam, but it doesn't compare, of course, to the mega match with Cena and Reigns. We all know that. So the whole point is they're trying to confuse you and make you believe something's about to happen when, the whole time they're actually planning something else. The thing we've all been expecting since Cena made his return at Money in the Bank. So Reigns signs the contract first, right? And Pat McAfee's like, a Cena chant? He's not even out here. Pat McAfee's great.
Cena's not in the ring.
We've already seen Mr. Missionary tonight.
We've already seen Mr. Missionary tonight. Look, man, that's fantastic. Look, Look, you're going to give Cena a whole new merch line if you keep calling him Mr. Missionary, right? But Cena also said at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of his promo, I didn't have the clip for you guys, but he said that if, what did he say specifically? I think he said, if you can find someone that can make Missionary entertaining for 2 decades, right? You know, because Cena's been in WWE now basically for 20 years. You know, if you can find someone that can make Missionary entertaining for 2 decades, they're a keeper. And the fans went crazy for it. So that was a great line by Cena.
As a matter of fact, Finn, did you catch his opening promo? You know what he said, right? John said that by accepting your challenge, I'm ducking him. I'm ducking him. So that means
I'm ducking him.
He thinks you're lesser than him. You're a lesser man than him. That's what he thinks. That's what he said.
So, of course, Reigns being the heel, he's trying to stir the pot, you know, make some kind of, you know, problem between Cena and BelAir, of course, and tried to take the attention off him, the Universal Championship. We all know how Reigns is. He's great at manipulating people.
You think pretty highly of yourself, don't you, Roman? And perhaps justifiably so. But it will be my privilege to return to NXT. Once again, Universal Champion.
So BelAir, you know, he did a good job getting straight to the point. I don't know what that means, you know, return to NXT. You know, I would assume BelAir's on the blue brand permanently now, you know. So I don't remember reading anything that BelAir was only on SmackDown temporarily. I was assuming that he would be on, you know, SmackDown permanently going forward, you know, especially with the draft coming up. Maybe the draft will officially have BelAir, you know, drafted the Raw or SmackDown. We'll see. But, I don't know, that line was a little bit odd to me because I was like, why are you still talking about NXT? You know, you just came back from NXT, you know? I never remember reading anything that he was supposed to go down and only be on SmackDown, you know, for a limited amount of time. But, you know, clearly BelAir went to sign the contract when Baron Corbin attacked him, right? And this would lead the stage for Cena to come in a little bit later. I'll play the rest of the clip in just a sec. I just want to mention, you know, they didn't have to do BelAir like that. I saw there was a couple idiots on social media saying that BelAir was buried because of that segment. Like, you guys, it's like you guys forget what the word bury really means. You know, like, you guys just, like, whenever something happens, you guys just say, "Oh, he's buried. Oh, she's buried." Right? No, you know, there's usually a long line of history of bad booking that leads to someone, you know, being called buried. When I call someone buried, I usually explain why I believe they are buried, you know? So, Finn Balor here, just because Balor was attacked by Baron Corbin, how does that make him buried? There was no match. Look, did I like that they put Balor in this position? You know, especially when most of us knew he was never going to be in the Universal Championship match to begin with? Of course not. I don't like that. You know, Balor should not have been used in that matter. I understand what you were trying to do. I understand that you wanted to, you know, confuse the audience and make them believe that we were not going to get Cena versus Reigns at SummerSlam in the main event, right? And you wanted to kind of, you know, do a fake out and make us believe it was actually going to be Balor versus Reigns. But still, you know, I don't like the way Balor was, you know, handled in this segment and how he was more of an afterthought, you know? You know, Baron Corbin attacked Balor. I don't know why. I would guess this probably will set the stage for a Balor and Corbin match sometime in the next couple weeks. You know, I don't want to see that at SummerSlam. You know, if anything, that's a pre-show match. And I don't think Balor just should be on the pre-show, especially with him just coming back to SmackDown. I don't want to see Balor on the pre-show at all. You know, because we've actually seen Balor versus Corbin before at a big name. I believe. I'm not sure if it was WrestleMania or SummerSlam. I believe it was SummerSlam a couple years ago that we got Finn Balor as the Demon versus Baron Corbin. You know, so we've already seen that match at SummerSlam. I don't know why WWE would want to do it again. You know, I don't. But It looks like that's the direction. So I don't know why they had to take this, like make this decision and have Corbin attack Balor in that instance, right? Balor was about to sign the contract, and I understand you were doing the fake out, but they could have done it a lot better. I don't like Balor being used in that way because Balor's not an afterthought. He should be one of the main event guys. And if Reigns beats Cena at SummerSlam, right, you can do a Balor and Reigns feud at what's the next pay-per-view? Clash of Champions, I believe, in September. So you can legitimately do a Balor and Reigns match at the next pay-per-view. So, I would have liked Balor to be used a little bit better in this incident and not made to be an afterthought here. Even though, nothing's going to overshadow Cena and Reigns, of course. But still, I feel like they could have done a better job with the booking of this segment. So Balor went to sign the contract. And then Corbin attacked him. And Reigns' face here was hilarious. So Corbin throws Balor out to the timekeeper's area. Corbin grabs the contract, was fell at ringside. And Roman's was like, seriously? You're going to sign the contract? You're going to try to be my opponent at SummerSlam? Like, that's a walk in the park for Roman Reigns. That's not a match at all. That's not a challenge. That's not a SummerSlam-worthy match. So Reigns is just sitting there like, really? Is this really about to happen? I'm going to defend my Universal Championship against you at SummerSlam? So Reigns is just sitting there like, all right, sign the contract. Sign the contract. And Reigns is like, really? This is what about to happen?
He said desperate men do desperate
So Cena comes down to the ring. Cena throws Corbin into the ring post. And then Reigns' face changed. He was like, And then he was like, oh no. Reigns could have easily got up from the chair and stopped Cena. But Reigns just stood there in shock. So did Paul Heyman. Adam Pearce and so did the Ville are on the ring apron like, what, is this about to happen? So Cena's looking around like, whoa, what do we got here? Reigns, and like I said, Reigns could have stopped Cena if he wanted to. He watched Cena pick up the contract. He watched Cena be flabbergasted that, Cena was flabbergasted that Roman didn't try to stop him from signing the contract.
No way!
So Cena had a Sharpie in his back pocket.
Sharpie!
So he didn't have a pen, he had a Sharpie. He takes the Sharpie, signs the contract, and it is now official. Cena versus Reigns at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship.
Does this mean?
There it is.
Is this even legal?
And Cena gives the contract to Adam Pearce, tips the cap, and there you go. And there you go. Cena and Reigns at SummerSlam. Oh, I was doing Cena's pose wrong, but there we go. Great, great, great stuff. Absolutely awesome. I'm hyped, and now it's official. Like I said, now that the match is confirmed, so they posted the official Cena versus Reigns SummerSlam poster right on social media. Now that we know what's happening, now we go to the next layer of the story. We get those face-to-face promos and back and forth with Cena and Reigns. I cannot wait to see that, especially now that we have 3 Smackdowns left before SummerSlam. Remember, I did say last week that if WWE wants to, they can do an epic, tag team match to get us hyped for SummerSlam here in the next couple weeks. Why not do Edge and Cena versus Rollins and Reigns? Why not do that match? Both the storylines kind of, go up against each other. All 4 of those men want to be Universal Champion, right? Seth, has been trying to get a match with Roman Reigns, but every time Edge has gotten into his way, he hasn't been able to win Money in the Bank. Edge you could make the case that Edge would have won the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank if it wasn't for Seth Rollins' interference, right? And Cena now is going to be the guy who faces Roman at SummerSlam. So all 3 of these men, want to be Universal Champion. And then you have Roman, of course, at the top of the mountain with the Universal Championship. So it all makes perfect sense. So I feel like WWE should do that tag team match in the next couple weeks. We have 3 weeks to go, 3 Smackdowns to go before SummerSlam. So they should definitely do that match, no question asked. They should definitely do it. So speaking of Edge, right? So Edge and Seth Rollins were on the show. They had a very, very short segment. So basically what happened is, during the commercial break, Edge was making his entrance, right? He was coming out, probably going to cut another promo on Seth Rollins, maybe challenging him to a match at SummerSlam. Seth came out and viciously attacked Edge from behind, So he attacked him from behind, threw him all across the stage, hit him with a big boot, and of course, the big thing was that Seth took one of the camera from the cameraman, and then hit Edge with it across the skull, the scroll. So I'm gonna see.
David?
Seth did cut a
we
small
come out
promo
here
after
for the
this,
winter to be
so I'm gonna
with
see if
you,
I can
and
find it here really
It's
quick.
like you're not even here with us.
To get into the ring here on Friday Night SmackDown when he was attacked, ambushed from behind.
So here it is. So Seth wearing another ridiculous suit. Today's suit looks like Seth's gonna be going to the Kentucky Derby. So look, I don't know who's dressing Seth, but these suits are ridiculous. I understand they go with his character, but these suits are absolutely ridiculous. Like, Seth now probably has a closet full of ridiculous suits because he has a new one every week. Like, ugh.
I am not ashamed of anything I have done. I am proud of that. That was the hard thing to do. But that was the right thing to do.
And you have the crowd, of course, chanting, "We want Becky." So these Becky chants are going to continue until she comes back. I'm like, if I'm WWE, I don't know why I wouldn't just bring her back now, unless she's just not ready, Because like I said earlier, she is supposed to come back in October right now, and WWE has no plans to bring her back beforehand, unless they're trying to fool us. Unless, that's what they want us to believe, so that Becky could come back at either SummerSlam or the night after, But the "We Want Becky" chants are going to continue all the time until she comes back.
I'm the rightful heir to the Universal Championship, and if I can't be the Universal Champion,
Neither can
then
Edge.
neither can Edge.
So very short, very sweet, and to the point. So Seth making it clear that he attacked Edge because if Seth can't be Universal Champion, Edge is not going to be Universal Champion. So good promo by Seth, short, sweet, to the point. Makes him look like a very, very dirty heel, and it's going to make the fans want to see Edge get his revenge on Seth at SummerSlam. So the match isn't official yet, but I expect the match to be made official here in the next couple of weeks. Probably next week, if anything. So there we have it. So getting on, I'm going to save the Sasha and Bianca stuff for the end of the show, right? So we'll get to that in a little bit. So we had Rey Mysterio versus Jimmy Uso. I legit called this last week, because last week we had Dominic versus Jey Uso. So I knew that they were going to just do the opposite, members of the tag teams facing off against each other this week. And this was a good match. This was a good match. It really does, I love seeing Rey Mysterio perform at this age. He still moves so quick in the ring, and he still has it. It's so fluent to him, man. Like, as you get older, you're supposed to lose your quickness. Rey looks like he hasn't lost a step. So, going back and watching this match, it was very enjoyable to watch. Just the athleticism and the quickness of Rey Mysterio, especially at his age, you know? So this was a really good match in my opinion. So Jimmy controlled the action through the commercial break, but Rey fired off a comeback that included a dive to the floor that flattened both of the tag champions. Then Jay tried to interfere, saving his brother. Jay tried to interfere, saving his brother from getting a 619, but Rey saw it coming, right? Because we know part of the storyline has been, Jay has been coming in, or, the Usos have been saving each other at, in all their matches against the Mysterios. So tonight was a reversal. So Jay tried to save his brother from a 619, but then Rey saw it coming and hit Jay with a 619, and then he hit Jimmy with a 619 too, and when he went for the pin, or actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Jay got hit with a 619 for trying to interfere and save his brother. So then Rey went for a 619 on Jimmy, but Jimmy countered it. But then Rey was able to transition it into a roll-up. And then Dominic, he put his foot in the same way the Usos had won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at Money in the Bank. He put his foot in to help Rey get the win over Jimmy. So Rey and Dominic, they put themselves back in the tag team championship hunt, right? The rematch is probably going to take place at SummerSlam unless the card gets too filled, where they maybe have to do the match on the pre-show, or they have to do the match on like the SmackDown the day before SummerSlam, right? But I would hope that the rematch between these two teams, probably the last match with these two teams, I would hope that would take place at SummerSlam. Especially since when the Usos won the tag team championships at Money in the Bank, it didn't even take place on the show. It was on the pre-show, which still boggles my mind. That match, that title victory for the Usos should have took place on the main show, in my opinion. So most likely the match is going to take place at SummerSlam. I don't know if there's going to be a stipulation. I was debating maybe they should do a ladder match with these two teams, right? I think a stipulation would be kind of cool. But we'll just have to wait and find out. But Rey gets the win here. So Rey and Dominic, they put themselves back in the tag team title hunt. And we'll see, how this feud continues to go. I don't see the Usos losing the tag team championships, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rey and Dominic, I would not be surprised if they didn't win those titles back. So next up, we had a 24/7 championship match. We had Reginald versus Chad Gable. And Reggie's been getting a push of late, right? I will say this about Reginald. I hated how Reginald was kind of pushed down our throats, especially when he was, he was involved in the Sasha and Bianca feud when he should have never been. He was then involved with the Women's Tag Team Championships. He was involved in women's division matters that he should have never been with. Never. So now he's on his own performing, and he's showcasing his athleticism, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's kind of entertaining. The guy moves really quick in the ring, and plus he's athletic as hell. He does all these flips, right? I don't know if 205 Live is still a thing. I truly don't. I know that the Cruiserweight division is mainly showcased on NXT these days, but I don't know. Reginald would be a really good fit in the Cruiserweight division, if you ask me. Right? For right now, he's, doing his thing as the 24/7 champion. It's, you guys know I don't care for the 24/7 championship. It's a waste of a time, right? It shouldn't even be on TV, to be honest. But right now, it's not to the point where, I'm losing my mind. Reginald right now, look, this role fits him. It fits him. It's way better than him being involved with anything with any woman superstar in the women's division. It truly is. This, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Reginald, and you guys have heard me. I've ranted on Reginald in the past, right? But the guy's not as bad as we once thought he was. So Reginald had a match here against Chad Gable, right? And Gable, at first we thought the match was going to be against Otis, but Otis took the mic and he said, "It's not me, it's him. So he revealed he revealed that the true challenger for Reginald tonight was going to be Chad Gable. So then Gable attacked Reginald, and Chad Gable had the advantage for the most part, but then Reginald started countering, doing his normal aerial assault. And then when it looked like Reggie was going to steal the win, Otis attacked to cause the disqualification. So Reginald keeps the 24/7 championship by disqualification. I like Gable and Otis. I like them as a duo, right? It still is weird to see Otis in the position he is now. Not to see Otis, happy, with his meats and everything. But still, he looks like a really great heel against up with Gable. They work well as a duo together. And I would like to see them built up as a tag team. I don't want to see them, feuding with Reginald for the rest of the summer. I didn't really mind it too much tonight. I know there'll probably be some people who disagree with me in the comment section, but to me, it was like it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like I said, I don't want to see these two see Gable and Otis feuding with Reginald for going to SummerSlam. I don't want to see that at all. But I didn't mind it tonight. I didn't really mind it tonight, man. Reginald's not as terrible as I thought he was. I'm not saying the guy's like has star potential. I could see him ending up down in NXT in the cruiserweight division. Definitely, he has the skills to be in the cruiserweight division. Because his aerial offense, it's gonna get old at some point. Right now, we're just getting used to it. It looks cool, but sooner rather than later, we're gonna get a little bit tired of it, and it'll probably be best for Reginald to go back down, to NXT, to go to the Performance Center to join the cruiserweights. I feel like he would do a lot more there and shine there, a little bit brighter than here on the main roster. But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So let me know what you guys think of the whole Reginald thing. So next up, we had a 6-man tag team match. We had Cesaro, Big E, and Nakamura going up against Rude, Ziggler, and the IC champion Apollo Crews. Like I said, we're seeing these 6-man tag team matches take place more and more, and it's because the SmackDown mid-card is stacked. You have guys that could be main event challengers for Roman Reigns and the Universal Championship. And, with all the names that AEW has, WWE's talent pool is still just ridiculous. It's insane when you actually think about it. It truly is insane. Nakamura, he could be a main event champion. Cesaro could be a main event champion. Big E, he should be a main event champion by the end of SummerSlam, hopefully. Hopefully he'll cash in on Bobby Lashley with his Money in the Bank briefcase, right? Ziggler was once a main event champion. Rude was a former NXT champion, and Apollo, he's an IC champion. So you have all these champions, all these guys with main event potential who you can make arguments that they should be in the main event scene right now, right? And, they're now being put in 6-man tag team matches because that's how talented, WWE is right now. They have so much talent. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had a dark segment tonight, right? They were on the TV broadcast, but they had a dark segment where Sami Zayn, of course, was complaining about the injustices, and then Kevin Owens came out and hit him with a stunner. That's how talented WWE's mid-card pool is right now. And I said that I think it would be best that, you get everybody involved in this IC title picture at SummerSlam. If you want, you can do a ladder match. I know we just had one, right? But or you could do some kind of, I don't know, maybe do an elimination style match. I don't know, but I really think you can do a big match at SummerSlam, where you can have Cesaro versus Nakamura versus Apollo versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. I would do a Fatal 5-Way with those 5 men alone. I feel like that would be perfect for SummerSlam. Get them all on the card and get them all in a, prominent position. That's what I would do. But still, man, I don't know what WWE's plans are for the IC Championship at SummerSlam right now. I don't. So we had the match. It was, good. It was a good match. All 6 of these men are great in the ring. So you knew it was going to be action-packed. You knew it was going to be a good contest. So basically, all the 6 competitors, like WWE always does with these 6-man tag matches, at the end here, all the superstars get their finishers in, right? They all get their big moves in. And then Rick Boogs provided distraction that allowed Nakamura to get a roll-up on Apollo Crews for the win. My problem here is the only problem I do have is, why is Apollo getting getting rolled up? Why is Apollo losing? He's the IC champion. He's lost matches to, I believe he lost a match to, what's his name? He lost a match to Big E. He lost a match to Kevin Owens, and that's how both those 2 men got IC title pictures earlier in the summer. Why is he losing to Nakamura? Why is he being rolled up? I understand if you want Nakamura to be pushed for the IC championship, I have no problem with that. Nakamura deserves to have championship go around his waist. Nakamura is fantastic at what he does. But, why does Nakamura have to pin Apollo? Why does the champion have to be pinned? You guys know I have a problem with champions losing on TV. You have Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler in the match. Why couldn't one of those 2 men be pinned? Why did Apollo, the actual IC champion, get pinned? If you wanted Nakamura versus Apollo, there's other ways to do it without the champion getting pinned and looking weak. I say this all the time. Your champion should not be getting pinned. The only time a champion should be getting pinned is when they're losing the title, when they're about to pass the title on to the next champion. That should be the only time. So I didn't like that. That was my only problem here. So I don't know if the plan is going to be Nakamura versus Apollo at SummerSlam for the IC Championship. I wouldn't complain if we got that match. That would be a great match. I know it would be. And I would love to see Nakamura win. Apollo's great, man, but I would love to see Nakamura get championship gold. It feels like forever, especially, I don't think Nakamura's been a babyface with championship gold since back in NXT when he was the NXT champion, and he's just getting back to that, being the king of strong style now. So I would love to see Nakamura win the IC championship. But I would also love to see those other men get involved, like Cesaro, like Kevin Owens, like Sami Zayn. Make it a fatal 5-way. That's what I would do for SummerSlam. I don't want to see names that not be on the card. So if I'm WWE, I would just do a fatal 5-way for the IC championship. Do a fatal 5-way elimination match, if anything. Do that at SummerSlam. So it looks like we could be getting Nakamura versus Apollo, since Nakamura did pin Apollo last night. But if it was up to me, I would do a fatal 5-way with Nakamura, Apollo, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. The reason why I'm not including Big E, of course, is I expect Big E to cash in on Bobby Lashley and become WWE champion. So I don't see a need to put Big E in that match if the plans have Big E cashing in later in the night, right? To save Big E being out for, Big E's big moment for later on, and let that be the one time we see him during SummerSlam, in my opinion. So that's what I would do with the IC Championship. So last but not least, finally, we talked about it already at the beginning of the podcast with the return of Sasha Banks, but now we can actually get into the specifics here. So earlier in the night, and I'll play the clip for you guys here in just a sec. Earlier in the night, Bianca made her way to the ring for an in-ring interview with Kayla Braxton. So basically, they were talking about Bianca's successful title defense against Carmella last week at Rolling Loud. And then, they were, they're talking about what's next for Bianca, especially with SummerSlam on the horizon. So then Bianca got interrupted by Carmella, then Zelina Vega, both women wanting, to stake their claim for a title opportunity. And I knew where this was going. Some people are like, oh, are we really going to get Zelina versus Bianca, or Carmella versus Bianca, or a triple threat with Bianca, Carmella, and Zelina at SummerSlam? Hell no. That was never going to happen. So all of a sudden, Bianca started getting beat down by the two heels, And then Sasha's music played. The crowd absolutely erupted, right? And there was reports early on in the day that Sasha was coming back, but still, nothing's better than the real thing. Who cares about the reports? We're here to see the real return actually happen. So she saved Bianca, hit her normal offense on Zelina and Carmella and cleared the ring. And then her and Bianca embraced. They had a big hug in the middle of the ring. Sasha held Bianca's hand up high. The crowd was going wild. And it was announced that later on in the night that Sasha and Bianca would team up to go up against Carmella and Zelina in the main event. And like I said, you guys, you non-casuals would clearly know where this was going. We all knew where this was going. So I'll play the clip first of Sasha's return. And then we'll get into the main event.
Because I am the moment, and no one is more deserving than me.
Look.
So accept my challenge, Bianca.
Look, I like Zelina Vega. She's great on the mic, but she has not won a match since she's came back. She's lost to Liv Morgan. She lost to Toni Storm in her debut last week. She lost at Money in the Bank. She has done nothing since she's come back. She's been all talk and has not delivered at all. Of course, like we know, WWE scripted. She doesn't get to choose what matches she wins and loses. But still, all bark but no bite. I love Zelina, man. I wish she was booked better. But I just found this ridiculous how, Zelina's out here saying, oh, there's no one more deserving than me. What have you done to earn a championship opportunity? And Carmella's lost to Bianca's 2 straight weeks. She's had championship opportunities 2 straight weeks on SmackDown. And then she tried to make the excuse that the lights were in her eye. Like, what? No. She's like, Carmella, shut up. You've had 2 straight opportunities and you failed.
Oh, you're on, Zelina.
So, Bianca actually accepted the challenge. I can't believe she accepted it. So then Carmella's either attacked. So Sasha got a big pop. So Sasha comes out, hits Carmella with a knee to the face. Crowd's going wild. You see a crowd signed, "We missed our boss." Sits Zelina with a huge knee, clears the ring. And then her and Bianca embrace in the middle of the ring. Sasha could have easily turned heel right there because Bianca was still recovering from the beatdown from Carmella and Zelina, right? Because Sasha did grab Bianca pretty quickly and hug her, but still, it was just like, it was meant to confuse you, like, wait a minute. Sasha and Bianca, they were enemies going into WrestleMania. Even though they had been tag team partners before that, and they had a, decent relationship before the WrestleMania match, right? And, we all saw the photos of them at the ESPYs, how they won the ESPY for Best WWE Moment. Well-deserved, of course. But it just still felt weird that Sasha was back. And Bianca, knowing how competitive Sasha is, knowing that Sasha strives to be the best, right? Seeing her, come out and then have no problem with Bianca holding the title that she took from Sasha at WrestleMania. And then them just hugging, it just felt weird. Everyone was like, wait, what's going on here? But WWE was deceiving you, setting up for something bigger later on in the night. So Sasha holds Bianca's hand. Bianca was a little confused at first, but for the most part, Bianca was happy to see Sasha back. And so they taunted the heels, and that was that. The big moment, like I just said, would come later in the night. Sasha and Bianca would team up to face Carmella and Zelina in the main event, and what was a decent match. You know, the crowd was behind it, of course, because this was their first time seeing Sasha back, right? This was Sasha's first match in front of live fans in, you know, over a year and a half because of the pandemic. But remember, she's been gone since WrestleMania, so the crowd was very ecstatic to see Sasha back. Sasha had her SummerSlam ring gear on. The one from her match with Asuka last year with the cheetah print, which looked amazing, of course. So Bianca and Sasha, they dominated the early part of this match. There was a part where Bianca pressed Sasha similar to the spot at WrestleMania, right? But this time, they used that with Sasha and Bianca working together. So Bianca pressing Sasha as Sasha landed right on top of Zelina and Carmella, right? That got the crowd hype going to the break. Then Zelina and Carmella isolated Bianca from Sasha for the second half of the match. Sasha got the hot tag, did her normal stuff. She did the Three Amigos, right? Sasha was pandering to the crowd. Like I said, what was so great about this is Sasha was able to flip the switch from babyface to heel like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. She made it look so organic. So Sasha did the frog splash here. The crowd going absolutely wild.
Welcome back, Sasha Banks.
Goes for the pin. But then Carmella made the save with a super kick. Bianca took out Zelina. Carmella tagged herself in. Carmella went for a face buster, but no, Sasha goes for the big statement and gets the win. Easy work from the boss. So Sasha and Bianca celebrate to end the show. And then they played Sasha's music for a sec. And then they played Bianca's music. And then, of course, the big heel turn. Sasha hits the backstabber on Bianca. Bianca did not see it coming. Sasha takes the SmackDown Women's Championship. And she's like, you think I forgot? So remind you guys, she's like, you guys really thought I forgot about what happened at WrestleMania? All of a sudden, you really thought I forgot, right? So it's just part of Sasha's plan. Sasha wanted to make Bianca believe that they were friends again. But no, Sasha was just waiting for the chance to betray Bianca and let everyone know that she was back for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha does absolutely taunting Bianca, beating the hell out of Bianca. This was a great beatdown. Sasha hit, I believe it's a 720 Tornado DDT, the one she did at WrestleMania. Picture perfect. And then she puts Bianca in the big statement. So now you have half the crowd cheering because they wanted this. They wanted Sasha to turn heel. And you have the other half of the crowd booing. So Sasha, like I said, was able to flip the script perfectly. Bianca did a great job of selling here. Great stuff here. And then the visual of Sasha grabbing the SmackDown Women's Champion, the title that was once hers, and holding it up. So Sasha making it clear that she is back to be the top, back to be the SmackDown Women's Champion once again. Then she went back and put Bianca back in the bank statement.
Sasha Banks once again gonna make BelAir pay.
So Sasha, that's the best part of all this. Sasha, as she has the big statement in, just talking crap as the show is going off the air. They got the trademark in the bottom right corner. Sasha's like, I got you an ESPY. I got you the main event. I got you everything. Don't you ever forget that, because I'm the boss. This is about you. This is about me. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Couldn't have been done any better. And Bianca is tapping. Great stuff here from Sasha. Fantastic.
Rolling the EST of the WWE.
Great job.
The boss is back.
And Sasha back with the evil laugh. Sasha with the evil laugh as the show goes off the air. Fantastic stuff here from Sasha. And then Sasha, as the show went off the air, she just walked out of the arena and said, "You're welcome." And that's how SmackDown ended. Great stuff here. The boss is back. She is now a heel. And the stage has been set for the Sasha and Bianca rematch at SummerSlam. You can't ask for anything better. You can't. You can't. Right? But great stuff here from Sasha and Bianca. You know, now, I don't know. Does Sasha win at SummerSlam? You know, clearly there's going to be a lot of people that want to see it. They're going to want to see Sasha and Bianca probably have like a trilogy, right? They're going to want to see Sasha get her payback on Bianca and then have a third match. The only, I don't have no problem with Sasha winning at SummerSlam. Of course, I would love to see Sasha win in front of 70,000 people. I would love to see it, right? There's part of me that wants to go to SummerSlam just for this match. There's part of me that wants to go for this match. But, look. Sasha versus Bianca, it's going to be epic. I have no problem with Sasha winning at SummerSlam if that's the decision they want to do, right? Maybe, like I said, someone threw it out a couple weeks ago. What if Sasha wins the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam and then Bianca in the draft gets moved to Monday Night Raw? That could happen. I want Sasha to stay on SmackDown. I don't want Sasha going to Raw at all. I want Sasha as far away from Monday nights as possible. Okay? But if we were to get, Sasha to win the SmackDown Women's Champion again, yes, Sasha would be the perfect person to carry that title into the fall, with fans being back in attendance as that evil heel now on SmackDown, right? You have Roman Reigns as the evil heel on the men's side with the Universal Championship. It would be perfect with Sasha Banks as the evil heel running the SmackDown Women's division, So, having matches with Sasha against Toni Storm, Sasha versus Tegan Nox, Sasha versus Shotzi Blackheart, Sasha versus Liv Morgan, right? Those matches would be perfect. Perfect for Sasha to elevate those stars to a new level that they haven't been. Sasha's the perfect person for the job. We always say, you look at almost everybody in the women's division who Sasha has faced off against, they all would say that Sasha was their best match. And if they don't, they're lying to themselves. That's the honest truth. They're lying to themselves if they're not saying that Sasha was their best match. That's just facts at the end of the day. There's nothing else you can say, really. So Sasha would be the perfect person to carry the SmackDown Women's division into the fall as its champion, as the heel. The only thing is, I don't want Sasha losing at WrestleMania. Sure, Sasha could get a long title reign going to WrestleMania next year, but she's 0-6 at Mania. That's the only blemish on her record now, is that she's 0-6 at WrestleMania, right? This is what I would do. If Sasha's going to win at SummerSlam, she holds that title past WrestleMania. All the way, just like Roman Reigns did. Roman went into WrestleMania, and when we all thought Edge or Daniel Bryan, when we all thought one of those two were going to be the guys to take the title off Roman, Roman defended. That's what you got to do with Sasha. If you're going to have Sasha win at SummerSlam, she has to carry that title from now past WrestleMania. I'm not saying for a whole year. I wouldn't complain about it, but I would have Sasha carry that title past WrestleMania, and then we find someone that can drop the title to. Maybe Naomi. Maybe Bayley comes back as a babyface, right? Maybe, Sasha's the heel, and we finally get the Sasha and Bayley match at WrestleMania that we've always wanted. Maybe Bayley comes back after WrestleMania because around that time, that's when Bayley's going to be healed again, right? Maybe you can have Bayley as the babyface come back right from her injury, and she's the one to take down Sasha. Maybe it could be Becky. Maybe it could be Ronda. Maybe Ronda's back, because we know I think she's in the later stages of her pregnancy, so maybe Ronda will be back by then. You never know. There's so much time. There's 9 months from WrestleMania. But all I'm going to say is, if you have Sasha win the championship from Bianca at SummerSlam, which I would not complain about at all, right? You give us Sasha versus Toni Storm, Sasha versus Liv Morgan, Sasha versus Liv Morgan, Sasha versus Naomi, especially now that Naomi's on SmackDown, right? You give us those feuds that can carry Sasha from SummerSlam all the way to WrestleMania, and then have Sasha get that successful title defense at WrestleMania the same way you did for Roman this year, and then after WrestleMania, you have Sasha drop the title to somebody. A Bayley, a Becky, a Ronda, a Liv, somebody like that. That's what I would do with the SmackDown Women's Championship going forward if the plan is for Sasha to beat Bianca at SummerSlam. And that probably should happen. With Sasha's return last night and with the momentum she's going to be carrying in the SummerSlam, that's honestly what you should do. That is what you should do. But either way, man, you know, we'll talk about this more and more as we get closer to SummerSlam. But the big thing, of course, is the boss is back. Sasha is back. The best female wrestler is back. Sasha versus Bianca 2, the rematch, is going to happen at SummerSlam. I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. It is going to be absolutely epic. I wonder if Sasha was on Talking Smack today or anything like that. I know Talking Smack comes out in the morning. You know, I haven't found anything yet, but if Sasha is on Talking Smack, I will do a reaction to her promo later on. I'm definitely going to do a video later this week comparing Sasha's return last night and turning heel on Bianca. I'm definitely going to compare that to Sasha's return back in 2019 when she turned heel against Natalya and Becky Lynch. But an absolute epic night. Great to have the bosses back. You know, great to have Sasha Banks back, man. Look, I know I'm a Sasha Banks mark, man, but Sasha being back is what's best for the women's division. It's what's best for SmackDown. It's best for the company. It's going to elevate everybody. It's going to put more eyes on the company, and it's great. This is exactly what we needed going to SummerSlam. The SmackDown side of things on SummerSlam is looking fantastic. Edge versus Roman Reigns. Edge versus Seth Rollins. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Sasha versus Bianca. We'll see what happens with the IC Championship, right? But the SmackDown side of things is looking great. Good show in my opinion. It wasn't perfect, but it was a good show. John Cena versus Roman Reigns is official for SummerSlam. Sasha Banks is back. Not much else for me to say. You know, like I said, it was a good show in my book. You know, so let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of SmackDown last night. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen with Sasha and Bianca going into SummerSlam, you know. And, of course, as we got 3 weeks to go to the big show. We got 3 weeks to go. So, as we get closer to SummerSlam, of course, we'll be talking about this more and more, right? 3 more weeks to go, 3 more Raws, 3 more SmackDowns before SummerSlam in Las Vegas Saturday night. It is going to be absolutely epic. I am hyped. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments section below. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel by hitting the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'm going to get out of here. Go check out all the other content we have on the channel. I have so much more coming soon. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. I'll see y'all later. Till then, peace.